Welcome to Waxing Pixels, the podcast from Battle Geek Plus. Also, our live Tuesday show on Twitch. My name is Josie, and with me as always, Heather.
Hello.
Ryan.
Hey.
And let's not forget Captain Frankalicious.
Frank's back.
Frank's back! And he has glasses on today. Frank, what are you doing?
Drawing.
Drawing.
With glasses?
Yep.
What do those glasses do for you?
Makes him look like an adult.
Do they magnify anything? I mean, are they
I
just...
can see better here than...
Really? But you had LASIK.
Yeah, but that was a long time ago.
I mean, yeah, but...
X-rays.
X-rays.
Christopher says X-rays. So, there we go. Frank's got X-ray vision.
Make you look older.
Make me look older and cooler.
Make you look like an actual adult.
And
How's everybody doing?
Good? Yeah, we're
Everybody's
good.
good? Right? Okay.
I brought over stuffed crust pizza this time.
You did. We usually have dinner before we do the show. And we got like dinner and a show. We're the guests and we're the performers at the same time. And frozen pizza happens more often than Heather would like. But it does. And Ryan brought over stuffed crust pizza. So, bam. Gabe! Hey, how's it going?
Hey, Gabe.
Gabe! You are here. So is Christopher. We've got some audience. And, I almost clapped.
I was gonna stab you. I was ready to
clapped.
click this pen and just stab you right in the fucking arm.
No.
Keep that in mind.
All right. Anyway, so we've got a really good show for you tonight because we've got the whole cast back together. And glad you're doing good, Gabe. And we've got some pretty cool gaming news. Took a bit to search for everything that we wanted to talk about tonight. Stuff that we're actually kind of passionate about. That wasn't all Nintendo topics. We didn't want to, do waxing Nintendo this week.
Well, to be honest, Nintendo is killing it.
Nintendo is killing it. Which we talked
everything.
about last week, with their Switch sales and
The Switch sales.
And just seeing all of the topics tonight was just kind of like, there's one, but it's Nintendo. There's one, but it's Nintendo. Trying to put a little bit of variety in there.
Which is why I only had one topic when I came here.
Yeah, so... which yours is kind of a Nintendo topic,
but
kind of not.
It's not a Switch topic, though.
No, but it's a Nintendo topic. So, Yoshi Murder.
Yoshi Murder.
What do you even... Yoshi Murder. Did I miss something? Whatever.
I have no idea.
Reunion show.
Because Nintendo's killing it.
Nintendo's killing it. Oh!
Ba-dum-bum.
I get it. So, anyway, we've got a really cool show tonight. I almost said action-packed, but we're just going to sit here.
Action-packed!
It's an action-packed show.
This is the topic.
Tonight, I'm going to choke out Ryan with my legs and the collar of his shirt. I'm going to put him to sleep. He's going to take a nap. So,
We can just put Ryan out of his misery.
Right, but before we put you to sleep, I've got a question for you.
Okay, so it'll be like a weekend at Bernie's thing with the podcast.
Yes.
Or more like a weekend at Ryan's.
Yes. But before we go for weekend at Ryan's, I've got a question for you.
Okay.
What you playing?
What you playing?
What you playing is the thing we do before we talk about the news. And as far as I'm aware, we're actually all playing things this week.
Ooh.
So, and as always, we start with Heather.
Me.
What you playing?
Well, so last week I was bitching about Steam and my Don't Starve game and being unable to play it. And at work, I mentioned it to my coworker who had said that he bought it and was super stoked about it and was very happy with it. And he was very shocked by the issues I was having. And the only game that would work, that would launch, was Shipwrecked. And I would say that, the pop-up, you click play, a box pops up, and you choose you click on one of the three games, either Don't Starve, Reign of Giants, and Shipwrecked, and then hit play again, because if you don't do anything, there's another box that pops up and just says preparing to launch, and it doesn't do anything. And no matter which game that I picked, it only launched Shipwrecked.
Oh, I'm Someone Z. Thank you for showing up.
Hey, how's it going?
Someone is one of my followers on Kendamu who also puts a capital Z at the end of their name on Twitter. And they've been following my Dragon Ball streams on the Kendamu channel, and we've actually been playing Xenoverse 2 together.
Oh, that's awesome.
I feel like I'm someone's was here last week.
No, they're saying it's my first time seeing this. I'm excited.
All right, cool.
And then Shaka.
Hooray!
So.
And also Gabe says we'll have a whole ton of explosions like a Michael Bay film. We can actually put explosions in this if we want.
I do have tits, but I don't think they're big enough for a Michael Bay film.
Mine neither.
So
anyway.
But anyhow, so my coworker stated how if you guys hear children, there's the family next door is coming home. But my coworker was really surprised by this, and he asked if I had attempted to start a game, which I had not, because I had not attempted to launch Shipwrecked, but Shipwrecked was the only one that was launching. And I was like, the fuck? So he was like, I want you to go home and try launching it, because I think what they've done, he's like, because whenever I play it, the menu for Shipwrecked is the only menu that pops up, but I'm able to play all 3 games. So the Shipwrecked menu comes up, and you click on play, and you choose the character you want to play as, and then you can toggle which game you're playing underneath the character select. I find that very odd. Since I'm not a PC gamer, I don't deal with expansions. So it came to my attention that Don't Starve, Reign of Giants, and Shipwrecked were all expansions, not new games entirely. So to me, it would make sense that what they would have done was you load up Don't Starve, you have the original Don't Starve menu, and then you would have buttons to toggle, which game you're playing, Reign of Giants or Shipwrecked or whatever. So it turns out I'm a moron, and the game works. I played it a little bit. I haven't played too much of it, but I've only done like 3 or 4 days. I'm on I ended up with a really good map, but I think I'm just squandering it just because I'm just running around screwing with things and seeing what does what. So yeah, I've played that. I haven't played Age of Empires in the last week. I put a lot of effort into attempting to find work. So
additional work.
Additional work, yeah. I know I have a job still.
Yeah.
But it's really slow this time of year. When the holidays end, there's nothing.
But,
well, everyone's at the gym rather than at the restaurant getting.
Yeah,
food.
Nobody's at the restaurant. Nobody's out eating. Everyone's at the gym working out, and
Then no quit.
Very few people have weddings this time of year, but we still have those. So I worked a wedding this past week, which was really boring.
Oh, okay, yeah. Someone was here last week, but right toward the end.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
See, I thought the name looked familiar.
Well, we talk a lot on Twitter, so,
Okay.
But yeah, so Don't Starve, that's the one, you watched a playthrough of that, right? Like a Let's Play of that?
Yeah, one of my favorite Let's Players, Splattercat, he really likes games like that, and I remember watching him play through, Reign of Giants. As far as I'm aware, there is no end game. You just play until you die. See how far you can get. So I think, I like games like this, but the flip side is that I want there to be an end game, which this is a game that doesn't have that. But he did play it. I did watch him. I ended up picking up one of his, old playthroughs whenever, the game first came out, and there wasn't a whole lot going on. For a little bit. I watched his Shipwrecked version for a little bit also. So I already kind of got a gist of how things work, but the other side is that since he's an experienced player, he already has a plan in his mind, and he just heads for that plan. So there are some things that I still don't know about because I've never seen him screw with them, because he knows already what they do and whether or not that's useful to him.
So Shipwrecked, I'm guessing there might be an end game to that, but first you have to befriend the volleyball, and then you have to make a raft.
Yeah, well, from what I could tell, you make a raft before you find Wilson, so that might be the end game, is finding Wilson.
Finding Wilson.
Which is weird, because I'm pretty sure the character you start off with, his name is Wilson.
Wonder if it's a reference.
I don't know.
But Christopher says, in the end, you fight the Ender Sandwich.
The Ender Sandwich. Well, I know there's, shit, what is it called? The Grue? I think that's what it's called. Basically, if you're in the dark too long, you get eaten by this monster called the Grue.
Oh.
So you need fire at night, period.
I don't remember there being a fire in a monster in Castaway. So I don't remember
sure
there
the
being
monster
fire.
was Wilson?
The monster was Wilson. The monster was you all along, humanity.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Ryan, what you playing?
Alright, so I've been playing a lot of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I got the motorcycle finally.
Awesome!
Yeah, it took a lot longer than I thought it was going to take because, they give you these really vague clues on where you have to go to the shrine and then you have to do some kind of task for a lot of them. And I was like, dude, I have to be some kind of genius to figure this out.
I need a PhD just to get this
I need a
damn
PhD in
motorcycle.
Zelda.
I know how you feel because I know just going through the game in general, anytime I would come across that bird being all like, hey, here's a song, find out how to do the thing, I'd just be like, yeah, F this, I'm just going to go find something where I get to fight people.
Yeah, so I kind of had these guide on my phone just to figure out where the exact locations of the shrines were. So I was like, fuck it. But I just did all the shrines and the bosses by myself, which wasn't too difficult. Although they got a little tricky because when you actually fight the bosses, they actually give you limited items.
Oh yeah.
They actually take away your arsenal.
They kind of put you in a similar position to whatever cast member, there's the different bosses and they sort of represent different cast members and stuff like that, like battles they've had or whatever, stories of theirs or that sort of thing. And you're kind of being put in the same position that they were in. It's kind of, I'm trying not to be too in depth and spoil it and stuff.
Right, yeah, there's one boss battle where
I will say that when I did pick up Zelda and I was screwing around with it and I did that first master trial or whatever, I didn't get very far because I was my voice is still fucked up. I was having trouble with the controls still because I hadn't played it in so long. And I said, fuck it, I'll go to the resurrection chamber and I'll start that motorcycle thingy. And just I get to the first spot and it's just all oh, there's a guy way up top who sees you. Okay, you're dead. And I died 6 times and I was like, yeah.
That's why I wore Sheikah gear and masks. I was like, F that.
Well, I did, but the whole, only half heart thing.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
The number of times that I got zapped by fucking choo-choo jellies, holy fuck.
Yep, me too.
Little bastards.
The guy you're talking about that saw you, he was the reason why it took me so long to get through that first one. Because I didn't know he was up there. I was just running around.
There's 2 of them up there.
It's not
just one. There's 2.
Doing my stealthy thing, and then eventually I was all like, wait a minute. And then climbed up there and was like, fucking die.
Yep. The one time, but it's not just that. There's also those fucking bats flying around.
Oh yeah, the bats
Oh,
too.
the bats.
Yeah, the bats on the mountain,
man.
yes.
So anyway, you ended up getting through.
Yeah, I see. Okay, I beat all the shrines, and then there's one last dungeon, which I won't spoil too much about it, but this is where I kind of had to learn the perfect parry because yes, there's guardians in this dungeon.
Oh, okay.
And I had, and kind of in the middle, there's 4 sections to this dungeon, and you have to cross the middle each time because you're going back and forth, and then. And, after you beat 2 sections of this dungeon, there's this freaking guardian that shoots lasers at you, so I pretty much had to kill it with the perfect parry. Oh. And then after that, there's a boss battle, which I won't spoil. The only thing I'll say about it, it's like every Naruto battle ever.
So, lots of gang signs?
Lots of screaming about Sasuke.
Internal monologue?
Yeah, something like that. And then after that, you get the motorcycle, and the motorcycle is really awesome, actually. Okay, Chris says, can you drive the motorcycle in the lava? Well, you can't actually drive it in the sand or the lava. I'm sorry.
You can't do it on sand? You
Nope.
can't take it through the desert?
Nope, you can't take it to the desert.
That's
It really fucking
that's
sucks.
super lame.
But
Oh,
what
hi,
I've
Clunk.
but what I've been doing with the motorcycle is, I've just been driving around Hyrule. I've been running over a lot of birds, so I get like raw bird meat. Because like doing all these, like dungeons and trial and these shrines, I ran out of healing foods, and I've also run out of shields too.
So you just went like on a bird murdering spree?
Yeah, bird murdering spree.
Bird murder.
And then
spree.
I've been trying to drive this motorcycle off like cliffs and hills. And then so what happens if you actually drive off a large cliff? You hit the rock, the motorcycle just disappears, and then you fall like normal, and then you die.
What?
Aw,
So what about if like you don't like completely just go crazy and you just kind of like? So Christopher's asking about snow, like down a mountain. Like if you just like started going down a mountain, similar to one you would go down for like shield surfing or something.
Oh yeah, you can actually do the mountains with the motorcycle, which I've been doing a lot.
Cool.
Well, but if you're lucky, once like the motorcycle disappears, just mash the X button and then you'll get your glider out.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I've also been trying to run over moblins, but they actually don't die in one hit.
I thought you were gonna say mob bosses.
Yeah,
You're trying to run over mob
there's
bosses.
a mob in Hyrule now? Like,
Yeah.
when did this happen?
Trying to run over mob bosses on my motorcycle,
Right.
my Zelda cycle.
And then, so aside from Zelda, I've also been playing the expansion pack for Horizon Zero Dawn.
Motorcycle to shield surfing.
Yep.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah, so I've been playing the expansion for Horizon Zero Dawn, and on the walls on the certain place, they're like paying some kind of tribute to the Triforce.
Huh.
I actually posted on my Twitter.
Oh, I saw that picture.
Yeah, there was a blue Triforce.
I think you put like hashtag not a Triforce or something like that.
Yeah, not Triforce. And then actually yesterday when I was playing when I was playing, the wall had a golden Triforce, which I did take a picture of, but I was like, okay, now they're not even trying.
No, they're not even trying to hide it. They're just like, this is Zelda, but not really.
Right, and that's
Robot Dinosaur Zelda.
Yep, and that's what I've been playing.
Right, Frank.
Yes.
What have you been playing?
You seem so refined with your glasses.
EVE Online, Hearthstone, Heroes of the Storm.
Hearthstone, isn't that supposed to be?
That
Who
is
is that?
the
Santos Crew.
card game online.
We would read your name.
We just got a new
but
follower.
We got a
Hey.
follower.
Santos Caceres is
Hey,
now
we go.
following.
how's it going, Santos?
And we also got another thing that's a lot of text that's really
It's
small.
so
Ryan,
tiny.
I can't even
We
read
can't
that.
even read it.
Oh, he's
so
hosting
sorry.
us too.
Oh,
Oh,
right.
yay.
Thank you for hosting. Thank you for following. Thank you for hosting. You're a wonderful person.
Sorry, it took us a minute to be able to read your name because that text on our screen is super tiny.
Our OBS
It's like really small.
yeah. So
Okay, so Hearthstone. Is that supposed to be kind of like a card based game?
Yes, correct.
Well, I've never played it or seen anything about it.
so what's going on in these games? Like which one is like really
Specifically
drawing you?
Hearthstone. That's the only one I want to know about.
Heroes of the Storm and Hearthstone, they're free to play. They're PC games. You can get,
Didn't
I think
Hearthstone start out like as mobile?
You can get the mobile
Oh, okay.
on the iPhone, iPod, or whatever.
On Apple products.
Yeah, I think so. Or, I don't know. I haven't done any research into what kind of platforms they have, but I'm pretty sure you can get on all mobile devices.
Stale meme or not, Santos, we're happy to have you.
Yep, happy to have you, dude.
So with Hearthstone, is it like Magic?
Yes. Like Magic the Gathering?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Only with their own little rules and stuff and shit.
Okay.
So is it strictly like a single player game, or can you play online with others?
You can play yourself. You can play against others. They give you certain like quests to complete, like win 10 games against people. I mean, you can.
So achievements, basically.
Not really, but sort of along those lines. Like they'll give you a in-game currency, so you can like buy 5 cards, random 5 cards and whatnot.
All right then.
Okay.
Well, if you want to try it out, you can go on my computer and try it if you want.
Hop on the old computer.
Hop on the computer.
The computer. I see a lot of Hearthstone stuff Hearthstone?
Hearthstone.
Well, I see that.
Shut in the hearth, and you're too late. You give games a bad name.
Okay, so now that we're out of, 1981 or something, I see a lot of free stuff that pops up on Twitch Prime related to that game. So.
Oh yeah, because they had a promotion. Like you'll get 5 loots if you like host on Twitch or whatever.
Right. Well, also I have Amazon Prime, and then linking my Prime up to my Twitch account. Like, there's free stuff that comes out every month, mostly for games that I don't play, like NBA and, I don't know, Card WoW, whatever it is you're playing.
Yeah, Hearthstone.
Card WoW.
Card WoW.
Well, that's basically...
It looked like WoW to me, like, just from, like, the advertising.
Well, they use the... it's based off the Warcraft universe.
Hertz Donut. Do you want a Hertz Donut?
That's...
Sounds good to me.
Sounds
Is it made out of cars?
Hertz
I expect
Donut.
better from you.
It's,
Better.
So, alright. And finally, I've been playing Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2.
Yay.
Yay.
Dragon Ball.
So I've started streaming again a lot more on my own channel, Kendamu. Someone Z, has been on the channel. I talked about it a little bit earlier. I have been playing Xenoverse 2 in order to kind of get myself hyped up for the new Dragon Ball game, Dragon Ball Fighters. I'm already hyped, but I just need something to kind of take its place in the meantime. And getting on and playing parallel quests with friends and whatnot is pretty much what I'm doing. I got my own character. You get your own character in Xenoverse 2, and you basically try and stop bad guys from trying to mess up the Dragon Ball timeline. And you're called a time patroller, basically. And yes, Pat Roller, my joke character from the first one. And I've been playing a lot of that, and I'm waiting on Fighters, but in the meantime, it's all Xenoverse 2, and I've actually leveled up a couple of times, and it had been so long since I had played that it wasn't until my second level up that I remembered, oh yeah, I actually have to distribute my points. Like, I don't just like become all around better or something like that. So I got to distribute a bunch of points today, and you know, it's pretty fun. And the only thing is, like, I hadn't been buying the DLC for the game, so there are some quests that I can't do, and so I'll end up like getting kicked out of rooms before I can start the quest because I don't have access to that quest. So it's whatever though. And before I quit today, so my current instructor, you can get instructors like all kinds of different, like Dragon Ball characters can be your instructor. And I've just been kind of working up the tier until I got to Whis. And Whis had been my instructor for a long time, but I ended up changing over today. So my instructor is now Jocko.
Yes.
Right?
Jocko.
I was hoping that
Mr.
Satan could be my instructor.
Lame.
But no, it's amazing.
No, lame.
No, Mr. Satan is the world champ.
No.
World champ.
He's lame.
He's the world champ. And
Jocko wins.
But yeah, so I was like, oh wait, there's Jocko. And so I learned his laser gun today.
Yes.
Which involves like me like hiking my leg up behind the back of my head and like sticking one arm out like this and like shooting. And doesn't do a ton of damage though. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. So, and that's what I've been playing. So let's move on to our first topic. We only talked about stuff for 25 minutes.
No biggie.
No biggie. But we're going to move on to what you're playing. No, we're going to move away from what you're playing. I was trying to from what you're playing. And into our first topic, the Ultra Game Boy.
Ultra Game Boy.
Ultra Game Boy.
Ultra Game Boy.
Ultra Game Boy. First there was the Mega Game Boy. Then there was the Ultra Game Boy. And now you can totally destroy Rita Repulsa's monsters with the Ultra Game Boy.
Ultra Game Boy.
Is that how it works?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, no, really though. Like, what is the Ultra Game Boy?
Okay, so the Ultra Game Boy is another Game Boy made by our friends at Hyperkin, who have been making a lot of the clone consoles. The actual good clone consoles, not the shit clone consoles. So the Ultra Game Boy is, yes, kind of a remake of the Game Boy because, the patents ran out years ago, so Hyperkin can make whatever console they want with the Game Boy. So the Game Boy, the Ultra Game Boy is going to have an aluminum shell. So like you won't scratch it a lot. It's going to have an LCD backlight. It's going to have like USB charging, which is awesome. And then let's see. Also, it will have like a 6-hour battery, which is longer than the original Game Boy, I think. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so it won't take, 4 AA batteries and like run out in like 2 hours.
Is it the size of an actual
I think it's going to be...
brick?
I think it's only going to be the size of the Game Boy Color.
The Pocket?
Oh.
Yeah, the Game Boy Pocket, yeah.
Well, that's just disappointing.
And convenient. Disappointing and convenient.
Will it survive bombs? Will it also make julienne fries? Yes, Chris, it will do all of that because it's made of aluminum and by Hyperkin.
In addition to playing what kind of Game Boy games?
It'll play all the Game Boy games.
Including Advance?
Yep. Oh, no, not Advance, just the original Game Boy.
Oh, okay.
Game Boy and Game Boy Color games is what it will play. This does not come preloaded with games, but like Hyperkin's other consoles, it does have that nice little slot to put cartridges in. Game Boy games are already region-free, so you don't have to worry about, doing any sort of crazy modding or anything to your console. And this thing is due out when?
It's going to be due sometime in the late summer, from what I read.
Late summer. So that means we'll be able to mess around with it at E3 this year, hopefully.
Oh yeah, hopefully.
So I wouldn't be surprised. I would be surprised if it was not at E3 this year.
Oh yeah, that definitely.
So,
well, Hyperkin's always at E3 this year.
You still have Atomic Punk somewhere? That's pretty rad. But,
Awesome.
But, Christopher, do you still have Kirby's Dream Land and Link's Awakening sitting around? Not sure where any of my other Game Boy games went. What? But Kirby's Dream Land and Link's Awakening were that was like me and you, our games. That was what, we were all about when we were kids. So, Frank.
They might have to change the battery inside of the old Nintendo Game Boy cartridges.
Oh yeah, the Game Boy cartridges, they are battery backup. So some of those games, the battery might be dead, which means you'll have to either get someone to change that battery out for you. It's like a watch battery, and or you will just have to go on YouTube and learn how to do it yourself. I'm pretty sure it doesn't take a standard screwdriver though, for piracy reasons and stuff like that. So I wonder does the Game Boy have like a flash cart sort of thing, where you put the SD card in and...
Oh yeah, it has an EverDrive.
EverDrive, okay, so there is a Game Boy EverDrive, so there you go right there. And that could kind of circumvent the need for battery backup and all that. And you can still play the 1,000 Game Boy games all of you probably have sitting somewhere on your computer right now. So, who's excited about the Ultra Game Boy at all? Just a little bit.
Yeah, I'm kind of, but I'd rather wait for a Game Boy Mini from Nintendo.
It's true. We still have yet to
built-in games.
hear really, because the sound emulation is usually where there's the biggest problems.
And also, the Ultra Game Boy is going to have a special feature where you can compose chipset tunes.
You can make them?
Yeah,
you can compose them?
You can compose music on the Ultra Game Boy.
Oh, Christopher, did you hear that? You can make chip tunes on the Ultra Game Boy. Now, can you export them in any way whatsoever? Do you know?
It actually didn't say, but I assume there's a way to do it.
Well,
only because
really cool.
there is a USB connection anyways, so I assume you can just you can just connect it to your computer and then you just export the tunes that way.
Christopher, throw out all of your music making gear. The Ultra Game Boy will sell for under $100.
Yep.
And you can continue making the wonderful music that we use on our podcast and on our shows. Any of you who were here before the podcast started and heard that music playing, that was Christopher Ninja. That was his amazing talent and hard work that went into making that.
Yep.
Anyway, moving on to our next topic, Zelda's future.
Oh my god, what's happening to Zelda?
A couple of things. So recently there was an interview with someone very high up in Nintendo Japan who was talking about the success of Breath of the Wild and how that would be and how that affects the future of Zelda as general. As general? In general. The future of Zelda in general.
As a general.
I'm laughing at Christopher.
Oh, let's see. Gabe says, it's meh from me since I only own 6 Game Boy games. And Christopher says, Space Zelda. They stole my idea. No, not quite Space Zelda, though actually they probably could go to Space Zelda.
I mean, they went to space with Mario.
They did.
Yep.
And the reason I say this is because the big thing about Breath of the Wild that they really took from this is that everyone likes having tons of freedom in a Zelda game. And, they first toyed with the idea in A Link Between Worlds, and then they just turned it up to 11 with Breath of the Wild. And so now they're like, pretty much that needs to become the new standard of Zelda. So, and they're kind of also talking about maybe the next one still being on the Switch, which is really weird. Like, usually there's only like one big Zelda game per console. Sometimes you get 2. Like, you get Zelda and Zelda 2. You get Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, but you never got like Wind Waker and Wind Waker 2 or something like that. Or Skyward Sword 2,
Well, no, there was like the Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword on the Wii.
Yeah, that's true. But Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword, like they were kind of, I don't know. Yeah, you did get 2, but also like Twilight Princess was more supposed to be like a GameCube game that ended up on the Wii.
Yeah.
So, which I think that you could pretty much say the same thing about Breath of the Wild. It was supposed to be a Wii U game, and it ended up on the Switch.
Much better idea.
Much better idea.
Yep.
So, future of Zelda, you're pretty much looking at much more free-form sort of stuff. I don't know if they're going to stick with the same like physics engine or whatever every time, or if they're going to try and do some new stuff. I would assume they would try and do some new stuff, because that seems to be kind of the element that drives how a Nintendo game is made, and then the story is just sort of like just kind of made after the fact. Kind of not really an afterthought, but it's not really like the focus. Link with an R-Wing. So, actually, there is hidden in the files of Ocarina of Time, there is an R-Wing that when you load it into the game via Game Shark, it does fly around and actually try and shoot at you. And you have to, like, try and kill it with, like, a boomerang, or when it goes low, hit it with a sword or something. It was like some sort of object test or something that was never really intended to actually be in the final game. But the object and its code is still in Ocarina of Time. If you ever look at, like, Ocarina of Time, like, beta stuff, like, beta quest stuff, you'll see a lot of people who will talk about the R-Wing, and they will demonstrate video of it on their YouTube video of it. But really, the other thing that I wanted to talk about, this was actually making me like even more excited, was there being talk of a possible 3DS remake of Link's Awakening.
Oh, wow. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, Link's Awakening was pretty much like my favorite Zelda game for a very, very long time. And it's still probably somewhere in like the top 3 for me. So Link's Awakening, for those who aren't familiar, was the Game Boy entry, which started out as Nintendo staffers in their spare time trying to port Link to the Past onto the Game Boy, just to see if they could. And eventually they just had enough stuff there where they said, hey, let's just go ahead and make a game. And so they made Link to the Past. No, Link's Awakening. So they made Link's Awakening. And Link's Awakening is about Link, who he goes on an adventure outside of Hyrule, gets shipwrecked on an island, which has people and monsters and all kinds of other familiar stuff from the Zelda series on it. And the island is... And the island at the center, at the top of like this kind of mountain volcano thing, is a giant, what looks like a Yoshi egg, and inside it sleeps the windfish. And you have to go to 8 different dungeons, defeat the bosses, get the instruments from there, the musical instruments, and then play this song to be able to awaken the windfish so that you can go home. That's what the quest is about. And it's an extremely fun game. It's definitely deserving of a remake. And hopefully they use the engine from Link Between Worlds.
Oh, yeah.
That would be pretty cool. And honestly, I'd rather see it be a Switch game. But hey, if they come out with a special edition, like new 3DS or something for it, I would totally get it. Because right now I am without 3DS. So, yes, Christopher, defeat the nightmare.
Beat the nightmare.
So, yeah,
The only reason I have nothing to add is because I'm trying not to talk.
that's fine. I'm not worried about it.
Okay.
I will carry the conversation. I will talk about Zelda as much as possible. I can talk for hours. You know this. I can go on for 2 weeks about Dragon Ball DVDs and make you extremely mad.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, moving on to our next topic, the Devil May Cry HD Collection. This was announced back in December, but there's been some new screenshots that come up, and have you taken a look at them?
I did. It definitely is a lot sharper. A lot of the images are. I like the idea of this HD collection, but at the same time, I don't care because, unfortunately, as far as I'm concerned, the second game never happened. We do not speak of its existence. The third game, I honestly don't even know if I beat that one. I think I definitely got more than halfway through it. It did not hold my attention very well. I did not like the female character that you play, Lady. I didn't like anything about her. I didn't like her design. I didn't like the way she spoke. I didn't like the way she acted. I did not like the character at all. I very much preferred, what was her name? She was the redheaded chick from the second one that doesn't exist. I liked her a hell of a lot more.
But she doesn't exist.
But she doesn't exist. She was the only good thing about DMC2. The first one, obviously, Trish is badass. You don't play her, at least not that I can recall. If you do, I don't know if that was like a special like secret or some shit. But it just has the first 3 games. It doesn't have DMC4. I would be more interested in getting it if it had that, because I never even played that one. That one kind of had my attention. But the new images that are available are really sharp. They look good. And also the special edition would come with a special picture frame that looks like it's been shot with a gun and whatever. So that's pretty cool. I personally wouldn't be getting this, and I certainly wouldn't be getting the special edition because, as I said, the second game was incredibly disappointing for me, and the third game, like I said, did not really hold my attention very well. So the only game out of that I would be interested in getting another copy of would be a remastered version of the original Devil May Cry, because that game was fire, yo. Amazing.
And what consoles is it coming out
for? Oh,
for?
fuck, everything.
Probably PlayStation.
PlayStation, Xbox, PC, everything.
Okay.
Switch?
No, not the Switch.
Oh, not the Switch.
Okay, everything but the
I
Switch.
I feel like, okay.
Devil May Cry is not a, I guess, family-friendly game.
Neither's Bayonetta or No More Heroes.
That's a good point. And besides, the Switch was not marketed to be family-friendly. It was marketed towards adults.
It was marketed
not chidlins.
Toward what did they call her? Brenda, the one girl who like in the original thing, like showing off what the Switch does. Like she picked it up and took it to a rooftop party.
Yeah.
No, like she didn't actually have a name, but like everyone was like, damn it, Brenda, bringing the Switch to the party. You know, like making memes out of it and stuff like that. I can't remember what they called her. Like I want to say Brenda, but I think that's a different thing. But yeah, so I didn't realize that. You really weren't such a fan of the Devil May Cry sequels.
No, I mean, if I was gonna play one of the sequels, it would be the third one, not the second one. Like I said, the one that I've always been interested in and I absolutely fucking love is the original. In the second one, you're fighting demon helicopters and shit. Like, that's fucking stupid.
So
and gigantic wolves. Like, what?
So then, and these were originally PS2 games, right?
Yes.
So if you...
I remember playing the original and being absolutely blown away by the graphics on this fucking PlayStation 2.
So if there
blown
is...
away.
So if there's like a PlayStation 2 classics listing for it for just the first one, would you get that one, or would you buy all three as part of the HD remake just to have the first one in HD?
I'd probably get the PlayStation Collection.
The classic one?
Not the classic one, and not get... Just because, I mean, maybe I would... I don't know. It's weird. Like I said, I don't retain a whole lot of information and memories about the third one. The third one was a lot closer to the first one in terms of the enemies you were fighting and shit like that. But like I said, I just remember being kind of annoyed because there were big portions of the game where you were playing as Lady and as not as Dante. That might be another big reason why I didn't like her character, because you had to play as her a lot, and like when you first start the game, you're playing as her, and I was like, what the fuck is this shit? Where's my white-haired man? What the fuck? Where's my kick-ass dude in his red coat? Why am I playing some stupid high school-looking bitch with a bazooka? This is stupid.
Does this remind you of a sequel to a very popular game made by Konami, where you don't get to play as the main character from the first one, and it annoyed the crap out of American fans?
Oh yeah.
Is that ringing any bells? What was the name of that game, Frank?
Metal Gear Solid 2.
just you seem like you were really super happy right there for me to bring Raiden back into your life.
I mean, there are portions,
There's your
Go back to your
There you
fucking
go.
kindergarten riding.
That's how I felt about Lady. Like, I didn't give a shit about her story.
That's her name?
No, it's her alias.
Oh.
Her name's
What?
Mary.
Oh, Mary. I thought you said lady.
Yeah, well, that's what Dante calls her. Calls her Lady.
Rightfully so.
Um,
Listen, lady.
well, I couldn't remember her real name, so I was actually looking it up earlier because, like I said, I didn't have a whole lot of memory about the third game, and the way that she ended up becoming known as Lady was because Dante had asked for her name at some point in a cutscene, and she didn't give her name because he's a demon, and she was like, fuck all demons, and she was like, you can just call me whatever the hell you want, and his response was, whatever, lady, and just called her Lady from then on. But yeah, so you do play as Dante, but it's like you switch back and forth between the two characters, which I wouldn't mind, but I think because when you first start out, you're playing as her, and there's big sections of the game where you're playing as her, and I didn't give a shit about her story, like, at all, and I just wanted to play as Dante. That's all I wanted. I didn't give a shit about her character at all, in the slightest, and that's probably a big reason why I didn't like her character, was because I was forced to play as her when all I wanted to do was run around and be a badass dude with white hair and turns into a demon and rip shit apart,
Hey,
you know?
at the very least, it's not the DMC, like, black-haired Dante, which...
Devil May Cry 5 is a piece of shit and should just be... All the copies need to be set on fire.
Which initially...
all of them.
Initially, I saw the teaser for that, where it was just cinematic crap. And I was all like, oh, crap, I actually give a crap about Devil May Cry for the first time. Because it had a very more, like, punk feel to it, rather than, like, European
Bullshit.
goth feel.
Bullshit.
And I was like, oh, this might be pretty rad. And then I downloaded the demo for it, and remember the story basically being all like, being something all like, like, don't trust the system. All the kids who shop at Hot Topic can see the demons that the normal people can't see. We're gonna fight those demons now. Fuck the man.
And woe is me, no one understands me.
And I was just kind of like,
Whatever.
oh, no, not this. Just make the demons real.
Such a piece of garbage.
I'm tormented on the inside.
So, like, that really, like, even though, like, the combo system, like, the combo-based system of, like, combat...
Understand. No one understands me.
Yeah, basically.
But, like, the combo system, like it's very combo-heavy in terms of, like, the combat system and everything. And I thought that was pretty neat, but I could not get past the story. The story of just kind of all, like, these secret demons that only the Hot Topic kids can see. And I'm talking, like, '90s Hot Topic, like the Hot Topic like me and you shopped at.
The Hot Topic that actually had some good shit.
Yeah, like the one that had like the trip pants and the trench coats and
That's
all
where
that.
I got my trench coat from. I still own that trench coat.
You do still have that trench coat, and we
The
took that
pain
picture.
I'm inflicting upon you is nothing to the pain within my soul.
You couldn't keep a straight face during that.
No.
So you fight your internal demons. No, you don't fight your internal demons. You fight demons that are out in the world that are somehow siphoning energy off of normal everyday people, but they don't see this. Only you can see this because you're special.
So yeah, I think I don't know. Like I had somewhere I was going. Oh yeah,
Sorry.
your trench coat. I remember you tried that on like a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it doesn't
Still
fit very
had
well
that.
anymore.
No.
I have my boobs are a lot bigger. It's
Yeah,
really
it was
difficult
just
to
kind of
get
like cleavage town, and like
Yeah.
that was actually your profile picture for a while.
It was,
just, just the
off. It was
cleavage.
my boobs.
No, it
And
was-
now it's a big joke. My profile picture on Twitter will forever be cleavage.
So yeah, this time right now it's Dragon Ball cleavage, but not
Yes, energy vampires, but they weren't vampires. They were demons, and they were lame.
energy demons. Also, Katie Universe.
Hey, Katie.
I don't mean to call you out because it seems like you're lurking right now, but thanks for coming in and watching our show. We're getting toward the last topic of our podcast portion, but stick around because we will be playing some couch multiplayer awesomeness tonight as soon as we figure out which game that is. But moving into our last topic for the evening, AGDQ is back.
I
That's
know,
right,
right?
Clunk.
That's right, Clunk.
AGDQ.
You bring
Game-
up a valid point, Clunk.
Games Done Quick. Clunk is excited about Games Done Quick, and so am I. Games Done Quick is an event that's done twice per year, and it's used to raise funds, say to like prevent cancer or something like that. And it's a bunch of speedrunners. They get together at this kind of like convention location, and they do marathon speed runs, and it just goes on 24 hours a day for like a week. And you'll see new stuff, you'll see old stuff being played. Some of the things people are excited about this year is stuff like Sonic Mania being speedrun, and it is definitely just
That-
super exciting.
Is that like a word? Like, you know...
AGDQ?
No.
What?
The whole... people are hoping to see Sonic Mania get speedrun. Wouldn't it be speedran?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't ask.
Speedrun.
But there will be speed runs of Sonic Mania,
There we go.
as well as some other stuff that like there's a lot that people are excited for this year. Sonic Mania was the one that really kind of stuck out to me. But you'll see new stuff, you'll see old stuff, you'll see fun tricks and glitches and things like that get done. And for those of you who are already into watching speedruns, these are marathon runs, meaning no resets.
Ooh.
So either they get it done or they don't. And that means that they might not take such risks with certain strats, but still, it's pretty cool to see like the entire game get ran. And it, from a variety of people, from a variety of places, with a variety of cats that have a variety of meows, like that.
And another thing is, if there's something you really want to see speed ran, be sure to check the schedule. You may have to wake up at an insane hour, like, oh, I better get at least a couple hours sleep before that speed run at 2:15 a.m.
And
for
also
Kirby's Dream Land.
and check back, like you can't just like look today for something that's happening on Thursday and like expect it to be right at that time. Some runs go long, some runs go short, and the time gets adjusted as we go. And in any case, AGDQ, so last AGDQ, they managed to raise over $2.2 million
Whoa.
That's impressive.
That's a lot.
toward a like cancer prevention fund. And usually there's incentives and whatnot with these donations. You go to gamesdonequick.com, you can find their schedule, or if you go to twitch.tv/gamesdonequick, you will see whatever they're playing right now.
Oops.
And I'll get keyboarded in the foot
You
because
survived.
domestic abuse.
You're alright.
And I totally lost my train of thought because my brain is in my left foot. And I got a
Okay.
concussion now. And yeah, so
Game done quick.
games done quick, donations, incentives. To, like, for example, there'll be like a Mario marathon. And it's all like, hey, if you want to see, there'll be this many Mario games. But if we get to this level of, like, this much money in donations by this time, we will add these other runs. And then if we get this much further, then we'll have all the top Mario speedrunners do, like, a 4-way race of, like, all the Mario games, like, back to back to back. And so it's really cool. There's lots of reasons, just besides, you know, the cancer stuff. And so you should check it out. They have Awesome Games Done Quick and they have Summer Games Done Quick. Right now, Awesome Games Done Quick is going on. Happens this time every year. So check it out. Might make the rest of you who stream on Twitch, might make your streams a little slow this week in terms of viewers, but it's still an amazing thing nonetheless. And if you are a speedrunner like Christopher, maybe, you know, you can go and show off Turtles Glitchless one day. Anyway.
Yeah, Chris. Get your shit together.
Get your shit together. I know you're not the number one... I know you aren't the number one guy anymore, but I'm sure that your time is still extremely impressive to the normal mortals who think that Ninja Turtles is just too hard to ever be beaten.
Is that supposed to be Awesome Games Done Pretty Good?
Yes, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's
Awesome Games Done Pretty Good.
Pretty good.
So, anywho, that is it for our topics this week. We are going to start wrapping up this podcast so we can get to some gameplay. So, before we can get to the gameplay, though, Ryan, you've got to tell them about the other stuff that goes on Twitch, and you got to tell them about the other stuff that goes on YouTube.
Right, okay, so we have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/BattleGeekPlus, where we do game reviews. And let's see, last week we did a crossover with the Nostalgia Critic, our friend John, over the Philips CDI, which went over really well. And the rest of January will be Mega Man Zero month, where I review a Mega Man Zero game every Tuesday until the end of the month. And then I'm very excited for next month's theme because, well, I won't talk too much about it, but once we get closer to it, I'll talk about it. And also, we play games here too, like what we're going to do later, or after this, here on twitch.tv/BattleGeekPlus. I play games every Friday and Saturday at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, but I am going to add a Sunday because a certain beta is going to be out that day.
What beta is that going to be?
Boruto's dad, Shinobi Striker.
Oh.
No, Dragon Ball FighterZ.
Yeah! We're all super stoked about Dragon Ball
stoked.
FighterZ. Dragon Ball FighterZ, we talked about the beta last week. We almost talked about it again this week.
Yeah.
So we got YouTube, we got Twitch.
Yep.
Where can they find us on YouTube?
You can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/BattleGeekPlus.
Where can they find us on Twitch in case they're listening to the podcast instead of watching live right now?
You can find us on twitch.tv/BattleGeekPlus. And this weekend I will be playing on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
What are you going to be playing?
Exciting.
See, on Friday I'll be playing Star Trek Bridge Crew in VR with the Oculus Rift.
All right.
Ooh.
And then Saturday I'm going to be playing this really cheap Steam game called Mr. President.
Is he orange?
I know that
Yes,
one.
yeah.
Oh, do you?
I know that one. You're going to purposely fail over and over again?
Yep. Oh, yeah. I'm going to fail over.
Gotcha.
And then Sunday's going to be the special day. Well, because most of us have Monday off because of Martin Luther King Jr. Day and Boruto's dad. No, Dragon Ball FighterZ.
Dragon Ball FighterZ. Yes, and on my channel, Kendamu, I will be playing Early Access Dragon Ball FighterZ Beta on the 13th. On the 14th,
1 day earlier than me.
Yes, on the 14th, I will be playing it for a little bit, but I have to work that day.
Right.
And on the 15th, I'll have that day off, and I'll be streaming it on my channel all day. I think in the beta, they only do matchmaking at this point.
Oh, okay.
We can't, choose our opponents. But once the game comes out on January 26th, we'll be able to fight each other. We'll be able to seek each other out and fight each other. So you could be on Battle Geek Plus.
Yeah, so hopefully...
And I could be on Kendamu, and I can be all read the damn manga. Now let's fight, Ryan.
Oh, yeah. Also, I got bad news. I had to cancel my collector's edition of Dragon Ball FighterZ, and I had to settle for the...
Oh, no.
I had to settle for the regular edition because,
Ryan, how do you sleep at night?
Well, because I calculated...
average Joe of a... I didn't have anything after that.
Well, because...
I thought you were going to say America.
Well, because we have a special project, I want to divert the money to instead of just getting a gigantic.
See, now you're
box.
making excuses.
Yeah, instead of a gigantic box, but it's gonna make us
Obvious,
all look.
Ryan, you should be working harder.
How do you sleep at night?
I don't know,
How do you sleep?
but it's gonna make us look very cool. That's all I'm gonna say.
He drowns his sorrows. He's a raging
You
alcoholic.
hug your mother with those arms of disappointment?
I hug myself.
So anyway, yes. So Dragon Ball Fighters. Obviously, you can see we're super excited, and we're gonna maybe try our best to not play Fighters after every podcast, but we might just play Fighters anyway. I don't know. We'll see. But tonight we're going to choose some really awesome couch multiplayer game on the PlayStation 4 and do some gameplay. But first, we've got to cut this podcast to a halt. That's not a phrase, but whatever. Anyway, everybody listening to the podcast, we will see you next week. Bye, Heather.
Bye.
Ryan.
Later.
Frank. It's an audio podcast.
Did you just dab?
Yep.
All right, that's it.